Mustafa was a poor man. Not only was he poor, but he was a beggar. Every day he would cadge from the merchants, traders and shopkeepers in the marketplace. And at night time he would huddle beside one of the outdoor ovens situated in some rich man's garden. But one morning when the sun was just coming up, Mustafa awoke to the sound of the clip-clop of hooves. And in the dim morning light, he saw a man approaching with his donkey. And on that donkey there was a cage, a small cage containing a young gazelle. And as the man approached, he said to Mustafa, I've come to sell this gazelle. Mustafa said, well, it's no good looking at me. I've got no money. I can't buy that creature. And all in the house are asleep now, so you won't do well here. But just then, the head of the little gazelle poked out through the cage and whispered to Mustafa, buy me, and you will not regret it. So without even thinking, Mustafa burst out, well, I've only got 3 copper coins. And the man with the donkey said, I'll take it, because I don't want to continue feeding this creature. So the little gazelle was let out of the cage and left with Mustafa. Mustafa didn't know what to do with this small creature. But then this small gazelle spoke to him and said, please wait here. I will come back. And the gazelle trotted off. Mustafa thought to himself, well, there goes my money. But anyway, I'll wait here in case the servants of the house wake up and throw me a few crusts from the kitchen. And then I'll have to go into town and cadge for some money or some food. But the little gazelle was not gone very long when it came back with a parcel, a packet on its back. And what had transpired is that the gazelle had trotted off to the palace, the palatial residence of a prince that was located not too far away. And in gaining the attention of the prince, said to him, my owner, my master has been assailed by a group of robbers, and he would like to come and greet you, but in his condition he dares not do so. And I wonder, would you be able to provide for him a suitable attire so that he feels worthy to come into your presence? The prince said, certainly, certainly I will do so, and immediately ordered for his servants to bring the finest of garb, beautiful, finely woven linen pants and a silk shirt, and gave them in a parcel to the gazelle. The gazelle said, yes, I will return with my master. And so the gazelle had trotted off and returned to Mustafa. And he said to Mustafa, now I have clothing for you. Go, bathe in the river and put on this attire. And then please follow me, come with me. And so Mustafa did as he was told. He had never, ever worn such fine garments. It changed him completely just to put them on. But then the small gazelle, leading him along the road, where they came to a wall, rather in disrepair, the stones and the bricks crumbling. But the gazelle pointed to a certain stone and requested Mustafa to remove it. And when Mustafa did so, he found a great treasure within, gold and jewels. He was a rich man now. But then the gazelle led him on down the road until they came to the house of the prince. The gazelle said, "Wait here till I call you. But remember, when I do so, that you are a rich merchant who has been robbed." And so Mustafa was able to take on this persona as directed to him by the little gazelle, and he was brought into the presence of the prince, who greeted him with great honor and seeming respect. And Mustafa grew in this way. Never before had he been treated with respect and honor. And of course the prince invited Mustafa in, and he was feasted and feted. The sheep was killed to honor his presence. But during the course of the very amiable evening that they spent, the prince mooted the suggestion that Mustafa might be just the man he'd been waiting for to wed his daughter, who was now of marriageable age. And so it was arranged. The wedding was arranged, and there was days of feasting and celebration, and Mustafa settled into his new life, a life of opulence, richness, and Mustafa grew complacent. He grew lazy. He grew conceited. And he spent his days smoking the hubble-bubble pipe and playing backgammon. But after some while, one day, Mustafa's wife came to him and said, "Husband, the gazelle is ailing, is ill, and has asked that you bring a bowl of curds and honey for it to partake of." But Mustafa said, "Can't you see that I'm busy with his game of backgammon?" And he ignored the request. Several more days passed, and his wife came to him again, begging. "The gazelle is ailing and is very weak, and has asked that you bring it with your own hands, a bowl of curd and honey." Mustafa said, "You give the bowl of curd and honey to the creature. After all, I paid only a few copper coins for it." And he went back to his game of backgammon. That night, after they'd retired to their chamber, Mustafa asked his wife, "So, how is the gazelle?" And his wife said, "The gazelle has died. And because you have been so self-centered and uncaring of this creature, I have decided to take back my dowry and return to my father." Now, Mustafa said, "Oh, forget about it. In the morning you'd have forgotten the whole thing." And he went off and began to snore, as was his invent. But in that night he had a dream that the gazelle came to him, asking, "Why did you not bring the bowl of curds and honey to me? After all, was I not the one to bring wealth and well-being to you? You set me free, but it was I who brought to you the life that you have been accustomed to." Mustafa was ashamed, and he tried to justify. "But after all, I asked my wife to bring it to you." But the gazelle had gone, and in the morning Mustafa found himself dressed in the rags of the beggar, huddled beside the stove, the outdoor oven of a rich man. Remembering that every character, every archetype and symbol in every story is an aspect of our self. What, for us, does the gazelle represent? What aspect of our being do you perceive as what this gazelle represents for us?